Hi there, welcome back. We've got ourselves the continuer of the game, so we're back in the draft. And actually, I believe they actually loaded from halfway through the draft, so we haven't missed a single thing. Here we are again, welcome back. Blaze, VG Gaming versus IG, game 1 of a best of 3 in the quarterfinals of the WCA LAN finals in China. Welcome back.
Yeah. So we just replicated the draft, pick for pick, ban for ban, and now got to this final phase. We're going to see the Witch Doctor and Bat Rider taken out. And if it gets Sims, is going to go the Puck in this case here. So a hero that can definitely go on the off lane and actually can survive the relocate ganks very well. In fact, he can even potentially survive Chrono if he sees it coming, starts with the orb, phases before the sphere, affects him, then he's actually able to jaunt out. So there's some real potential with this hero in general, and I definitely think that that's a really smart choice from Invictus Gaming, but we'll have to see how well they play it on that off lane, as I believe that's going to be the only way they can really run it here. In the meantime, Vici Gaming, they've got a full set of reserve time if they want it, but I'm pretty sure they have a good idea in mind of the other support they want here.
They definitely had enough time to think about what they wanted to do here. I have to say, if they go for lanes like you explained earlier with a Faces Void off lane, Death Prophet safe lane, Tiny IO mid, then you'd have a Puck versus a Death Prophet on the top lane, which would actually be quite decent for Puck to be dealing with. So I think it's I also really like the pick for IG. A lot of control coming with that, of course, and setting up for potential fissures or hexes or shackles and whatnot. So really liking that one. Not sure how aggressive they can be early on. Earthshaker is overall a fairly passive hero in terms of he can keep your carry safe. Normally doesn't rotate around too much other than that. Shadow Shaman could be aggressive, but also is a kind of a slow hero and also needs a lot of levels. So if his gank actually fails, he will be not having a big of impact as he wants to have, which he could have if he actually just continues stacking and pulling and gets experience that way. So I'm curious to see how much we're going to see early on in the game, because I think that's going to be detrimental for VG Gaming's lineup, because if they're not interrupted in their laning stage, I think things are looking pretty good for them. And that might be scary for IG later on in the game. But seeming like they actually almost use all of the almost 2-minute bonus time that they have, thinking carefully about what their last pick here is. A Nature's Prophet.
So I'm curious how they actually want to run this one here, because we have actually seen I'm going to say on multiple teams. I've only seen it once actually. Puppy on Team Secret has run a support Nature's Prophet. Not only starts in the jungle, but really plays a number 4 position as far as what he builds up, and even like starts off with wards and Cory and stuff like that. It's a little weird because obviously we mostly picture the Furion as a core hero, but in this case, there's a lot of merit to actually running it in a supportive sense, because FY definitely needs that bottle. Ice and him communicate very well when it comes to the IO Tiny combo. And yeah, Fenrir is going to be running the Furion to start things off. So 1v1 lane up top most likely, and Furion will just try to take as much out of the jungle as he can, and IG don't really have the heroes to contest.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm quite curious to see this too. It could be a bit too greedy, but as said, it's not like IG has got this really aggressive roaming lineup lined up, so he's not really needed on any of the lanes. Void, Nature, or rather Void and Death Prophet can do by themselves just fine. The IO doesn't need anybody else but Tiny, or rather vice versa. Tiny doesn't need anybody else but IO, so you have basically got a slot where you can pick anything you want. And they ended up going for the Nature's Prophet, which, yeah, I could definitely see this work. It's nice. Also, I'm seeming to have already quite a bit of server lag coming out from here, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'd recommend doing either a quick reconnect or a quick Dota 2 reconnect. Turn that off and on. Usually will work out for you. But at least for now, it's just going to be passive. No first blood movement. No major smoke ganks or anything like that. We do have some nice boots up on Chuan, so he can go in for the startup of the Earthshaker, Shadow Shaman, Roam. But it's going to be pretty passive to start things off. Fenrir is actually going to kind of split it 50-50 with the Wisp as far as responsibilities. Wisp will pick up the Courier, and Fenrir will pick up the wards. So he still gets a little bit of early movement towards his Basilius, while the Wisp will be delayed only slightly in his bottle. 475 out of 700 gold. But yeah, just starting things up. It's going to be Bounty Rune for Puck, double damage rune for Lycan, and Lua is going to take that, of course, to the safe lane. to go up against, I guess, yeah, not only Black's off lane, but also Fenrir supporting him down bottom.
Yeah, I did end up going for a reconnect because, well, if I can
Mhm.
fix that, then I should try it. Figured maybe the best way to do it. So hopefully we're not missing anything. As you mentioned, it looked like a fairly passive start, and that's no surprise because both teams seem to be kind of happy with just going for their lanes like they're meant to, going for their just solid stick to themselves, only get something if you're actively seeing someone overcommit or if you're going for a smoke gank or something of the sorts. But other than that, I think it's in both interests of the teams or best interest of the teams to just win the lanes, try to focus on the lanes and not really doing too much else apart from that one.
Mhm. So Fenrir's going to make some nice early movement here with the Nature's Call. He's actually going to do what we see normally the offlane Nature Prophet do, is use the treants to block the pole spawn. So that's not going to be a pole camp available for Chuan, and they're not going to be able to control the Creequilibrium. And as we saw with 6.82, the Creequilibrium shift for the Dire offlane is much more favorable towards their tower. So by default, if the pole is unavailable, the creep wave is going to be continuously pulling back so that Black can find some farm and most importantly that nice experience. So Fenrir already kind of creating that opportunity for him through these summons, and he's just going to keep rinse and repeating that. There's nothing to stop him.
Well, my first load failed, so hopefully the second one will let me into the game and I can actually see what you're talking about because it's pretty difficult to talk about a game if you don't see it.
Sure enough. But for now, it's as you would expect. We're going to see Ice take some harassment, but he's got the Stout Shield. He tangos up, and the only really interesting thing is how many stacks are really coming out for FY. He's actually got a ton of stacks. Well, unfortunately, some Mud Golems, but still, it looks like a triple stack on the East, as well as in the what used to be the Easy Camp. Now it's a medium one, but it's still loaded up with a lot of stacks they can clear out very effectively with the Avatos combo.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like this load is going to happen either, so I'm going to just continue to press load like I did during the draft. I did end up loading in at some point, but hopefully that will be 3 times the charm, even though seems problematic.
I'm sure the reconnect will happen like 5 seconds after first blood.
No.
Just because.
No.
But at least for now, it's really just
Not
Chuan
for
helping
now.
out Ferrari in the middle a little bit, trying to make it a 2 versus 2 type situation. But down bottom, Black plus Fenrir are gonna make it a little bit more difficult for Luo. Like Luo's obviously trying to farm up on the Lycan as best he can. He goes for a 1-1-1 build, but for now he's only found 8 CS, and it's actually Black to outpace him there. He's gonna be able to farm up nicely and move in towards the standard poor man shield treads Mask of Madness type build up.
Okay, well, I am actually back in the game. However, this is more lag than I've ever had it before, so this was not the right call to be doing as everybody is stuck in place, and this is not even slideshow Dota. I wish
Really?
it was. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know if you have the stream on, but it's pretty
No,
bad.
I've experienced it. I certainly have. With the TI4 Chinese qualifiers, did a little bit of that for the EU hub, and yeah, that was brutal. When I didn't go for a full reconnect, but when I closed out Dota 2 and then reopened it and reconnected back to the game, it was working perfectly fine. That might be an option,
That's
but
what I just
I'll
did.
do a. Oh, so you did a full reconnect. Okay, I don't have an answer for you then. We're gonna have a first blood up top. It is gonna be the death of the Death Prophet. Chuan got a nice shackles off there, and June will be able to finish him off. But now the rotation comes through. They get the toss under the tower. Fenrir just is the ammunition to catapult towards the Shadow Shaman, and in the end they make it a 1-for-1. But the first blood's still spilling in favor of the Radiant IG take it, and it's June's puck to claim it. But that ammunition turns into a bit of an overextension. Nature Prophet being thrown under the tower without a TP available. He is cleaned up by Ferrari in the end. So it makes it a 2-for-1 in favor of IG.
Yeah, I'm gonna reconnect again because this is like not even watchable. I can show the team fight recap, but so you're on your own with the radio cast again.
Sure enough. Well, we'll see Fenrir make his rotation back down bottom. Already tired of what the shenanigans going on the top lane, but they don't really have the control to bring down the Lycan here. He's just going to eat a few auto attacks, but other than being zoned out a little bit by Fenrir, he's not actually like feeling the direct impact. And honestly, that's not the point of the Nature Prophet. Other than a little bit of lane contribution, the big thing here is that Fenrir will be able to join the relocates and essentially make any movement at least a 3-hero movement, if not 4. So, yeah, we'll see him being more active as he gets some level progression. For now, FY is bottle crowing so that he can help sustain Ice on the lane.
Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience, people. Unfortunately, nothing that I can do to help it move along. I just hope that I get a good load, and then I can actually see the game. And you can actually see the game as well.
Ferrari here is going for a 2-1-2 build. He already has a magic stick up, knowing there's a lot of spells being cast out, so he's able to survive through most movement from WCA Gaming. Unless they add in the Nature's Prophet on top, that might be a little bit much for him, but he's keeping one Tango in reserve to make sure that's not going to be an issue. Up on the top lane, Super is going to be disabled up. The puck delivers a lot of magical burst damage, but it's going to be the chain disables from Chuan and Cheesebug that really net them the kill. So obviously Death Prophet starting off a little shaky on the safe lane. They wanted to reserve the farm for her, get her a good start, but IG have other plans in mind, and they're able to start her off 0-2, and she also goes for the bottle in the safe lane. So she really doesn't have that much as far as like hard net worth, and she's going to have slow progression. We do see FY does get a bounty rune to bottle up, and he's going to need that restoration, as ISS is taking a lot of harassment on the mid lane.
Yeah, I'm back into the game, but it seems like the issues persist, so perhaps Dota TV is the best option to go for here. I mean, I just saw a smoke pop with Chuan and the Earthshaker, but I can't really see where they're going because it's so laggy.
Sure, try Dota TV, and we'll switch over to that if that's better for you.
I hope it works. Because if I go for Dota TV, then I can't reconnect back into the game, can I?
I guess not. I don't believe so. We're going to see a little skirmish here, going back and forth. We might be recapping this 2 minutes from now, but right now it's going to be Super dropping the Exorcism. There's already a lot of kills flying back and forth. Tiny and Nature's Prophet will both fall, but in exchange for the Viper, the Shadow Shaman, it's going to be Luo and June to try to clean it up, though. Right-clicking down onto FY. Oh, Luo! Dropping so low, the last right click will be delivered, and Black with the Chronosphere to save the day and pull this back in favor of WCA Gaming. They throw the ammunition, once again, FY right onto the puck, but he will salve up, and it's only going to be Fenrir's TP and then Sprout to bring him down. Avatar's coming out, nice phase shift from June, but in the end he will be cleaned up, and it's a triple kill for Black. Now the Fisher block them in. Oh, a huge Fisher. There's a time walk out for Black. He gets the easy escape, but Ice not so fortunate. The disables from Chuan, locking both him and Fenrir down. It looks like it's going to be another death for the Nature's Prophet. A bloodbath in the Radiant Jungle and across the bottom ruin spawn. The overall fight recap only shows a small portion of the action, but the tail end of that really favoring IG.
Yeah, I just waited for that fight to be over before going to Dota TV because, yeah, I'm gonna leave the game. No other option, really. Why don't I see the game being live? This is a problem. Oh, they're on the professional, not on the premium.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I was hoping they didn't forget to add the Dota TV ticket.
That would have been a problem. Oh, you're gonna load again! Yay. Once again, people apologize for the inconvenience. Oh, look! Oh, we are with the smoke! We can see the whole fight again.
Awesome. That was a good one, too, so... I'll switch over and join you there. For those in Dota TV listening to my voice right now, we are unfortunately not going to be continuing our commentary in the client, as there's just too many issues connecting to it via the Perfect World servers. But topped off for now, and we'll see you on the stream.
Yeah, we'll see Ice getting a shackle and killed off. I know this fight's already happened, but it's fun anyways. Viper gets picked up. Luo in some trouble, or Shaker looking for maybe getting out, maybe reconnecting it for a Fisher later on. Super, getting his exorcism going, will end up getting picked off here. It feels weird casting a fight that we already know what's gonna happen, because there's gonna be a Chronosphere. Hey, look at that, and Black coming in, just cleaning up. With the FY making it out alive, Black already got a double, will probably get a triple kill, but I already knew that, so I'm not, you know, psychic.
Such predictions.
Such predictions must wow. Watch out. Avalanche coming out, the toss as well, and yeah, that's gonna be the triple kill coming out there for Black. And the smoothness is insane. Nice Fisher coming out still for the Earthshaker as he's back in things with Chuan as well. Fenrir trying to walk away, gets hexed up. Chuan is not gonna let him escape. Ice already dropped, and Fenrir will be one hit away from dying as well. There he goes, can't teleport out. And I don't have teamfight recap as a... Okay, you do, oh, you do.
There it is. But it's... Yeah, those are only the last 3 deaths there, so...
That didn't really.
I think Black got a lot out of that, though. Obviously, he's got Treads, Aquila, Poor Man's Shield, as well as 900 gold, so he's feeling pretty good about how that one worked out. That's not how they wanted to spend their first Exorcism, but you have to remember that they are fighting pre-relocate, so they don't get the full positioning advantage. They're just taking the fights kind of scrappy, and although IG are leading on kills, I still think Vici Gaming's cores are reaching the progression that they need to.
Yeah, Super has got himself his face boots. He's just having a happy time on top. And when he was involved in all those fights, you actually will get Dream Coiled as June thinks he can make a go on him. He has got some help, but his help is far away. Help in the form of Chuan and Earthshaker. But I think that June kind of jumped the gun there, because if everybody was a bit closer, that could have been a kill. However, this time June will get away. He still has a full bottle as well, so it's not like he has to go back to base.
Yep. In the meantime, Ice and FY are going to farm up a triple and quadruple stack here, getting a lot of gold for themselves and moving into level 6 on FY. So already going to be looking for opportunities. Maybe not on the Lycan. I'm not sure if he's actually a good target or not because of the shapeshift transformation time, but any other non-mobile target is going to be easy pickings.
And that's the one that they wanted to do earlier on. This time everybody is there in time. The fish are blocking the escape, and they will get the kill on the Death Prophet. It might still get a return kill here for Vici Gaming though, as they lock in Luo on the Earthshaker. And Avalanche coming in as well. There's no getting out of this one, so they get a return kill. Did force that rotation of 3 people. So in the end, still a worthy trade for IG for sure, especially since it gives a bit of push potential here on this middle lane.
Dire's structures are fortified.
So they're going to force a fortify very early here with Luo's Wolves, and they have some real potential there. But Ice, he's getting mana back. FY gradually gets the restoration from Urn, but he really wants his 10-minute rune if they want to contest. He needs to bottle up a rune. They're going to find it. 100% chance to spawn there, of course, now. And he does get a DD to bottle up and go in for the counter gank here on the mid lane.
Yep, Avalanche tossing it back into Super. Exorcism coming out as well. Viper has got that mechanism, and Ferrari will be able to just heal up and walk back. June's here. Dream Coil is still there if he wants it. Gets it out. Down goes Ice. And a Fisher coming out to block the other 2 off. Perhaps they want to go in again. Viper strike up on Super. They're not going to chase it though. It's fighting it in the Exorcism is not a great idea. However, if they can already do this with fighting into an Exorcism, imagine what they could do if, you know, the Exorcism wouldn't have been there. They would have dived and they would have been able to kill everything and take the tower as well.
The Exorcism is a very long cooldown now. It's actually going to be the longest cooldown that they have to worry about in this game here. So, in this position, dropping down the Mass Serpent Wards, they almost guarantee this tier 1. At the very least, it's going to fall. It may, however, be denied by Vici Gaming.
Yeah, the Naya comes out. Good for them. In the meantime, FY is having some issues with Wolves. And this is actually something that right now seems like something harmless, but this will turn into kills if this continues. It's level 4 Wolves, but every time if there's a team fight and those Wolves are put in that Io is going to have a very tricky time on trying to get his overcharge up, as well as dealing with the Wolves at the same time.
So we're 11.5 minutes in here. Ice is progressing towards his drums very quickly, but looking at the cores on the side of Invictus Gaming, we already see the Vladimir's is going to be progressed towards very quickly by Luo. The Blink Dagger is about 1,300 gold off for June. And then, of course, Viper, we've already talked about. He has his mechanism, now his treads. So he has the mana to sustain his mechanism by tread swapping to intelligence. But
bottom lane, Lycan getting picked off there. Chronosphere was used. And VG Gaming get out with a kill. Relocate used. It's a good success. Missed that kill, but Black also doing really well, sitting on 3-1. 3-0-1 rather in terms of kills. He is highest up on last hits as an off-lane void. That is pretty impressive. He's also highest on net worth. It is definitely a scary hero to see that high on the net worth. Are you still there?
Yep.
Yeah, you are.
Yes, I am. Maybe a little bit lag there, but
yeah, I think so.
Still, the Defender is going to be finding some nice farm in the Radiant Jungle, taking that for their own, but IG just turn the other cheek. They go out to the other side of the map. They get a nice combo of disables onto Ice. There is no relocate to bail him out, but look at the Avalanche toss! He actually gets a return kill for his troubles. And they're the ones that force the rotation. Now, bottom lane, Black is just going to right-click down some wolves, clear out towards the tier 2 tower, and of course Fenrir has the Nature's Call to back him up if they do want to go for the push.
Yeah, that is
Radiant's
was a
bottom
pretty
tower
scary
is under attack.
thing to have happen. IG, they lost their Earthshaker still, which, you know, overall for Tiny, I mean, if you're gonna die anyway because everybody basically jumps on you 5-on-1, and you're getting away with the kill, that's pretty good. And you create space for that Phases Void at the same time. I would say definitely worth your while. And it just is a bit troublesome for IG if they need to use so many resources and then not get as a convincing fight as they probably want to get. It's something that they have to be wary from because they can't let Black get too far ahead and they can't give too much space to everybody of VG Gaming while they themselves are doing basically only ganking maneuvers and sitting around each other with trying to pick off heroes. They need to get some extra farm as well. Lycan is of course getting out some farm, but he's farming the jungle right now. Has got his Lance up, which could mean that we are going to see a Roshan takedown soon. But we'll see, as it is quite an obvious thing to do.
Yeah, hard one to contest with just a single Treant scouting out Roshan occasionally. It could be a good option, but Exorcism will come out. Juke could just disengage from this, and that might be the waste of Exorcism, but Black says no, sir. Dropping the Chronosphere onto 2. Easy pickings for him, just tearing them apart with that Mask of Madness, and now they're in a position to take Rosh for themselves. Exorcism has only just begun, and they're going to be able to just wail away at Roshan.
Yeah, that is... That was just it was a ballsy Chronosphere because they do not have that much vision of the high ground. So that was just Black being very on point, very on the ball, and slightly out of position, I guess, from IG as well. They do not have any vision whatsoever on the side of the Roach pit. Actually, they do not have any vision at all. They do want to try and fight this though. They know that the Chronosphere is down. They know that the Exorcism is down. They can try this. They go for Ice Ice Ice. He gets tethered. Can he get tethered away? The overcharge is there and saving his life for the moment. And it is Black that IG turns on. They are able to get him, but they lost the Shadow Shaman already. Fenrir gonna try to teleport out. Will be able to do that. Is gonna survive all the poison damage in the fountain. And in the end, it's a 1-for-1 trade. But the Aegis is still in the hands of Ice Ice Ice, who managed to live through it all. And that was the kind of fight that IG should be able to take if they went in with so much and knew that there was no Chronosphere and no Exorcism. But they only got 1 kill, which is a good kill because it was a killing spree as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, Black definitely is a good target to take down, but it's not what they wanted.
Yeah, definitely. With the cooldown advantage, you expect a little bit more, but they just don't have the range of initiation right now with like Blink Dagger and such. They got in a little bit late. VG Gaming responded appropriately. Now they're going to go on to Cheesebug, and it looks like he's just going to be 1-2 punch down. FY is even still here getting hexed up, but he's got the spirits. You might be able to turn some damage on the opposition, but for now they're just going to take this newly forged path through the tree line, and FY is going to be able to tether away from this Viper.
Yep, and that's gonna be 3 kill basically. They don't get the tower, which maybe they came for, but a good kill nonetheless, and a very aggressive ward placed as well, which is very good if you have got that relocate and Nature's Prophet as well, of course. You can just be there with 3 people in no time. If someone is hiding behind the tower, you'll know and you can take that person down with relative ease. At the same time, pressure is applied on the bottom lane as well. Black and Fenrir continue to push, and that's gonna be Lycan in trouble. Chronosphere used, the Fisher still comes out, and that's delaying it. And that's actually allowing C to live, and Black is actually gonna die because of that Echo Slam even being used for that one. In the meantime, Viper is able to kill off the IO and the Tiny as well, at least once, because the Aegis gets popped. Let's see if they can do it again. The Shackle gets interrupted already by the Avalanche. And Ice Ice Ice, is he gonna try and turn this around? Relocate coming in here, as well as an Exorcism Death Prop, and then they want to try and make a comeback, or at least get revenge for taking the Aegis, taking the IO. Ferrari tries to teleport out, will be able to do so, but at least they got the Shadow Shaman. And they made sure that they get that. And with the Exorcism up, they can probably take this tower down as well.
Yeah, they'll take the tower for sure, but it's not what they wanted. Down bottom lane with that Chronosphere initiation onto the Lycan, what they wanted was the relocate to come through with Ice Ice Ice. They wanted to bring him down bottom and make it just a 4 versus 2 play on that tier 2. But the Viper and Shadow Shaman had other plans. The Wisp ran out of mana, he got disabled, and they were able to pick them apart by taking down the Medic, taking down the IO. The Tiny was easy pickings, and the Aegis was the price. So, in the end, VG Gaming do fall a little bit further behind, although they do get the tower advantage at this point in the game. One other thing to mention, of course, is that we are going to be seeing some real progression for the Nature Prophet as he moves in towards a Blade Mail, but we aren't going to be seeing as much for the Wisp. He is going for the Mechanism, but he just bought back, and that critical item is going to be delayed significantly.
Yeah, that is definitely a shame, as VG does want to try and take their advantages while they can get the towers early on with the exorcism, as it's going to get tougher to fight into them because you are going to end up trading towers against that Lycan, of course. The Lycan, however, I mean, I'm not too big of a fan of Lycan anymore, personally, and on the Radiant side, he's also slightly underwhelming normally as well, but in this game, he hasn't really had too big of an impact. He's been around, he's been in the fights, that's for sure, but he's not really been able to like make it possible for me to say like, okay, that's really where the Lycan shines, and that's really why IG is getting ahead this game. It's not the Lycan that is specifically as a hero doing amazingly well. Avalanche coming out, June in some trouble, will still have a phase shift. Can he do it? No, he doesn't do it. He ends up going down. The Hex comes out though, and Ice is in a bit too deep and will end up getting dropped there. So a 1-for-1 trade as Ice got left alone by his teammates. However, did create space for Black to take that tier 2 tower on that bottom lane.
Yeah, and it looks like they will be able to disengage at least for the moment. We do see a nice flank coming in from Ferrari though, and he should be able to get in Viper Strike range, very close, but knowing Black has the time walk, even if he guns for him right now, I don't see a chain stun combo coming out. Cheesebug could get a Fissure, but that's about it, and it'd be quite a reach. So instead, yeah, they lose the tier 2, and it's just a 1-for-1. I think VG Gaming are definitely have forged their path back into this game. I mean, we do see the tower advantage kind of to be expected to fall in their favor with the Death Prophet, with the Nation Prophet, but you have to consider how little Chuan has been able to accomplish in terms of Mass Serpent Wards against towers. They've taken 2 tier 1s, and that's all.
Yeah, one more left standing. Towers are one only